And I think we're live. Hello,
Awesome.
everybody on YouTube. It is a Monday night. Wow, I totally read. Okay, I can't talk. All right, so this is the kind of night it's going to be. Hi, everybody. We're on YouTube tonight with Lily Nova here, and she is also a fellow Starseed being. And I am Savita. For those of you who have not been here yet, welcome to the channel. This channel in particular focuses on Starseed beings and helping those basically get back with that side of theirs that they had before they came to Earth. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Lily. If you could kindly go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Lily Nova. I was formerly called the UFO Whisperer for my contact with UFOs, and now I've become a bit of a cosmic channel. And my main priority and focus now is helping share this information, share what I'm learning, and help to connect other starseeds with their star origins.
Yes, ma'am. And for those of you that are just now hopping in my honest opinion, this is going to be a juicy interview tonight because we have quite a bit of content to show y'all. So if any of you have not been at a Starseed interview yet, what I do is go through about, 3, 6, 7 questions to kind of get to know the Starseed beings. That way other Starseeds can kind of resonate with different things and see maybe if certain experiences that someone else happens to go through, it can help them out. So my first question that I'm going to ask you, Lily, is if you could describe your first experiences of the paranormal, which includes UFOs and light beings and stuff like that.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it really just kind of came out of nowhere. And I think how it's been happening with a lot of other people is once COVID hit, everything just kind of hit the fan. And that was really my first experience in the middle of COVID. I got into astrophotography, which is taking photos of the night sky, and so I was spending a lot of time out under the stars. And right outside of my house one night, I went outside and I looked over, and there was a big old UFO hovering over the neighborhood. And then another one appeared, and it was a diamond, triangular, some weird shape I'd never seen before. And it came straight to me and disappeared right above me. And yeah, so that was pretty intense. And then after that, I started having a lot of UFO encounters. And then that's what led me to be like, okay, what's going on? First off, there are other beings here. And so that was a really big paradigm shift. And then it led me down, learning about the truth behind everything. So it started off with UFOs and very physical. And then it started as I learned more and discovered that I was a starseed, which it took a while for me to realize that. Then it started becoming more kind of a spiritual and having those non-physical experiences with them.
Thank you for that. Oh, that's exciting. So I can only imagine your reaction. You're just like young and you look up above and you just see this triangle hovering above you and it's just like, it's just gone of a blink of an eye.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was in shock. It was shocking, but I grabbed my phone and I was like, holy crap, I think this is a UFO. For the first one. The second one, as it was coming near me though, I kind of took a step back and I was like, whoa. It's very shocking, but I really think that there's a big calling in my heart to learn more, and the curiosity, it overcame any fear or shock, really.
Yeah. I like how you said that because that literally describes how it is when you go through this. Like it takes a while, but when you're just so curious at this point, like you'll go dive down the rabbit hole and you don't care what you're going to find.
Yeah, you feel like this big calling too. There's something more. You just feel really called to this information. So even though it's kind of scary and you're stepping into the unknown, I think we know in our heart that that's where we are supposed to be, and there's things to learn and star beings to see.
And it's been really growing, especially since COVID. Funny how you mentioned that. If any of you have seen my previous YouTube videos, I mentioned how a lot of people happened to awaken during COVID. That was low-key an intentional shift.
Right.
That was done on purpose, But thank
Yeah.
you for sharing your first experiences. And it's funny how you brought up when you first learned about starseeds, because that's the follow-up question, is if you could paint us a picture of your starseed awakening. Like, where were you? What was it like? Your emotions? Like, just tell us about it.
Okay. So it took me a while to learn about starseeds, actually, because I was very focused on learning about the UFOs and learning who they were, how they worked, because I would see them popping in and out of dimensions, and just the science part of it really fascinated me. So it took me probably, at least a few months or 4 months or so, and whenever I started hearing about starseeds. And actually, it was a psychic who told me, this is how I found out, and I literally bawled my eyes out. But I went to a group meditation, and my friend's mother was there. She had the singing bowls, and very experienced and very clairvoyant, clairaudient. And she looked over at me and she said, Lily, your star family's here. And I was like, what? And yeah. And that's how I found out. Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Oh, wow.
So that's how I found out. And still at the time, like, it was kind of, like, I have a star family, what? Like, it was just kind of like a big deal. And I didn't quite understand it, but it became was very emotional after that. And then I had another confirmation. I actually went to go see a psychic because I was trying to figure out who these UFOs were, because I was seeing them so often. They were connecting with me. I was developing kind of a telepathic communication with them, the early stages of it. And the first thing she said right off the bat, and she's like, you're Pleiadian. And those are Pleiadians who are coming to see you. And also a very emotional moment. So that's kind of how it started. And then I was like, okay, so the Starseed thing is real. At first, I didn't believe it because I'm like, that sounds kind of like fantasy, and so then I actually started looking into it and learning, what the starseeds are here for, and that there are tons of starseeds on this earth that are now awakening, and all these concepts started coming to me. But besides that, then it became very emotional. I feel like everything, even like right before the UFOs, kind of just started falling apart. It's like everything old is, leaving, and you're having this huge shift. So you're having an ego death essentially, and everything that you thought you knew is changing. So it was a bit emotional. I spent probably a couple months in my room crying, just kind of letting it all out and stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's been a very beautiful, learning everything and having these beautiful experiences with these star beings and UFOs. So, and then it really just kind of, I feel like they were leaving me breadcrumbs, signs and synchronicities. Those started happening, which also makes you question reality, because you're
like all of a sudden you're seeing all these numbers and colors, signals and signs, just like all these patterns. And it's like, clearly there's something going on here.
Exactly. So that's another thing. You kind of think, am I going crazy? Is this real? What's the nature of reality? A lot of signs and synchronicities. And so quickly, I was so impressed. Like, literally, as soon as I thought of something, I'd look over and the answer would be right there. It's pretty trippy stuff. But so, yeah, that was basically, that kind of sums it up loosely.
Oh, what an interesting time. I can only imagine, just because as you were saying, at first you didn't believe in it, or you questioned it at least. And I get it. All of us, just all of a sudden there's a pandemic, anything else is possible. And then when you're first going through these awakening stages, you notice that there's just so many synchronicities going on. And it's not a coincidence. We're past the point of coincidences, people.
Definitely.
Wow. So you have a strong relation to the Pleiadian, and that's following up to question number 3 is which starseed beings or races resonate with you the most? So is it just Pleiadian, or like, what do you have with them?
Actually, I feel like Pleiadian was kind of the least, My first connection was, and this is a good tip for anybody too, if you go outside and just spend some time stargazing, whatever you feel a calling to could be, your star origins. So if you have a certain star or constellation, just like I know you have an Orion tattoo, something, because your soul already knows. So your first kind of gut feeling. And my first connection was Sirius. I was became obsessed with the star Sirius and just felt this calling, and started learning about the ancient Egyptians, and they had Sirius everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was my first connection. And then the clairvoyant at the meditation group, who, whenever she said your star family is there, she said, I can see Lyrans. And so that's kind of the main one that I feel connected to. And those are the ones that I see the most. And I worked with a lot through there. I was just talking to them every day. And then also a little Pleiadian. But I think so Lyran, Sirian, and Pleiadian.
Interesting combo. And I think that's really cool, that going back to one of the most fundamental principles of physics, that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can be transformed, changed one form to another, blah, 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 blah. So it's interesting to think that you probably had so many reincarnations, or these many multi-dimensional versions of yourself from all these different areas. I've started to notice, personally diving through the research on starseeds, that the majority of the time you don't resonate with just one.
Right.
You resonate with a bunch. For me personally, it's Orion and Arcturian, and you have a triple combo. That's a triple threat. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we're kind of like opposites. You got Orion and Arcturus, and I got the other three main ones.
That's interesting. Honestly, that's really freaking cool. So you resonate with Lyran the most, and then Pleiadian and Sirius as well. That's really cool. So do you know how they communicate with you? Do you know which ones you're currently talking to? Do you know what they're like? If you want to bring up anything that you would like to share, I can go ahead and do that if you're ready to share.
Oh yeah. So yeah, let me show you some pictures. So the first time I ever saw one, and this could be good for people to give this, set their intention out there and give it a shot, because they can actually send you visuals. And that's also something that I've been developing and working on. But the first time I saw one, I was out and I did a CE5 contact, which is human initiated contact with UFOs. And I will share the picture of what they looked like. It was pretty cool.
It was some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
This is a juicy interview. Just the stuff. Ooh. Y'all, we are here for a reason.
Yup. Oh no, I don't know if it's letting me.
Oh, try one more time, share.
Is it? Okay, share screen. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So I'll show you guys what what the UFO looked like whenever I went to go make contact with it. And it showed up as a golden orb. And here's a picture of it. And that was moving around. I was trying to ask it questions, and it would move around, and it was kind of trying to answer. And my friend who I was with was like, let's try and close our eyes and see if we can get any information that way. And I closed my eyes, and it sent me a vision. And I'll show you. The vision was of a woman who looked like this.
Oh, wow.
And she was in a gray silver uniform, like a space uniform. She was laying down. She had no hair. She had light blue skin. She was very beautiful. And I could see her crew members were standing behind her. I couldn't see their faces. She was laying down on this table with her eyes closed. And so that was the first one that I saw. And I found out later that she was Lyran.
Which goes back to one of your connections.
Yep. Yes, exactly. So me and her are closely connected. I later learned that her name was Talia. And She's who I connected with for the most part. That's who I mostly connect with. I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. Very, very just peaceful, high vibrational beings. Whenever you connect with them, you may feel just an overwhelming love in your heart that it can make you emotional. I don't know if you ever have instances like that where suddenly you're just kind of like overwhelmed with like a positive feeling.
Yeah.
But that's really what it mostly consisted of. How I would know that they're there, or an ear ringing.
Because that's a common one too.
Yeah. So whenever your ears ring, you're getting vibration, high vibrations and downloads sent to you. And the Pleiadians, they have a very warm energy, a very positive and very like compassionate energy. The times that I've kind of connected with them. So as you kind of connect with them, you can kind of sense a little bit of a different energy for each one.
That's interesting, because I never thought about it like that they would have a different kind of vibe. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they all have different purposes and motives. But I wanted to ask, since you mentioned the name of this Lyran being that you saw, how did you find out her name?
So, and everybody has gifts. It would literally come to me like telepathically, but not like words. It would come to me as just like a feeling and a knowing. Yeah. Like I would ask a question, and then suddenly it just
knew popped in your head.
Yeah, it would just pop in my head. But they usually communicate with me through that feeling, but also through visuals, a lot of visuals. And recently I've heard some auditory, some words too. So yeah, but mostly a feeling and just kind of a knowing. It's like what they call downloads, where just information just pops right in your head.
It literally, and you can't explain it. Like, you can't make it up. It just tumbles in your brain like word vomit. It just pops.
Right.
We do actually have a question in the chat. Let me make sure that there's no other questions here. Sorry, everybody. We're just so into this. Like, this is pretty cool. So we have a question from Jeff, my dad. What's up, Dad? He says, Lily, are you familiar with Dorothy Izat and her encounters? I'm not sure if you've heard of her.
No, I don't know.
She was, I'm not sure what year she was alive, and I don't know why my camera's getting fuzzy. Sorry, everybody. But she was an older woman that recorded tons and tons of footage on, I believe, 8mm film. I don't want to butcher that, but she literally had like frame by frame of these light beings and just these,
oh my gosh,
little squiggles of light. Let me see if I can find one on Google real quick. Dorothy Izat.
I was about to say, I gotta write her down and check hers out, and I'll show you guys my light being pictured too. But
yeah, so let me see if I can. Bear with us, everybody, because we're just going with the flow here. Like, this is something, in case nobody understands what we're talking about, I just want to show that. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Sharing. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, this is kind of what those light squiggly things look like that this woman captured on her camera for years and years. Obviously, this wouldn't be the exact picture, but she literally caught stuff like this on film. And when she got it developed, like, you could literally see it break down and teleport from one spot to another. And I thought that was kind of interesting when my father told me about that. So yeah, you'll like that. There is a documentary on her. It's like 45 minutes on Amazon Prime Video, if anybody has access to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And that brings up a really interesting point, that these beings, just the way that they maneuver around, and they can just appear out of nowhere, and they can come in all these different forms. So it's
really cool. And when you watch the documentary, you literally see a scene in the documentary of, I believe it's her daughter, standing at the kitchen window, and you can see a light in the background moving behind her, and then you see an orb move to like her throat chakra.
Whoa.
Yeah, like in the documentary, like as they're filming it, and they didn't realize it till later on that an orb flew in front of her as she was talking about them.
That's amazing.
It is really amazing. So if none of y'all have seen that, you need to check it out.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
he says that there's, oh my gosh, that's a lot of feet of freaking footage.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go binge that.
It is a good documentary. It's short, not too dreadful, not too long, and it honestly, it's really interesting to just, because so many people get, shit for this. So many people are judged for this or called crazy, but that's why we're here together.
Right. And it's nice to get some actual like physical evidence, and that's what I was focusing on hard for the first like 6 months, just trying to capture evidence and show people like, look,
like we're not crazy. So speaking of evidence, that one that you showed me,
the light being one.
Yes.
Okay.
This other picture that Lily has to share with you guys is freaking phenomenal. I thought that was cool. And it's funny because she didn't realize it till after. And that's usually how it works. Just to do a little short story, my spiritual awakening trip was last summer. I went to visit my dad's side of the family. And I ended up capturing a picture of a ghost in like a 1780s brick house. And I didn't realize till I came back, and you could see this ghoul face and like this black cow. And I was just like, whoa.
Whoa, I'd love to see
creepy.
that. Can you see my screen?
I can add it to the stream. Yes.
Or no, can you see it on the screen? Okay.
I just didn't want to share like your.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thing. Yeah.
All right, here it is.
So tell us the story about this picture.
So, I was literally just taking a picture of it was an old classroom that I was working on, and I just went down there and was taking pictures of it for memory. I've abandoned the classroom, haven't been using it, haven't been down there in a while, and I was just taking a picture of it. I didn't see it until about 2 weeks later. I just saw it. It was sticking out like a sore thumb on my OneDrive, that there was this whole light being in there. And so it's really interesting. I did not see it with my own eyes, but at the time I was meditating a lot and I could feel them around me a lot. So this was just amazing physical, evidence. And it also makes you wonder, there's little rainbows in it.
Little rainbows.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. I do see that down there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, so now that's how you know that, like, yeah, your camera's not broken. No. That's a light being.
It actually looks like you can kind of see like a head right here too.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if there's more of them up around here, but if you look around here, there's also, it looks like
some streaks on the walls too.
Yeah, streaks. They've come to me in groups, even in the clouds too. That could be another manifestation of that they can do, is showing themselves in clouds and through signs like that. Like I've looked up and I saw like a whole silhouette being and multiple ones behind it, kind of just like that.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're not crazy. Like, this stuff is actually like coming out of the closet more. Like, it's nice to know that people are actually accepting this and acknowledging it, and that we're finding other people that have had these experiences. And it's weird because for me personally, I've seen basically this lifetime before. And when COVID happened, I don't know about you. So actually, I am curious, when COVID first happened, because you said that's when your Starseed stuff was awakening. Mm-hmm. Did you also feel like that you lived COVID-19 before?
I don't, that thought hadn't come to me, but whenever it happened, I just knew that this was like a reset. Yeah. I knew it in my heart. This is like a reset, and this is going to change the world forever.
Yeah.
And so
That's I like the way how you say that, freaking reset, because oh my god, we caused so much damage to our poor blue pearl. Oh, so
Yeah, and so
heartbreaking.
much damage to ourselves. I knew that this was gonna be like at the time I was a nutritionist and I was like, oh, now everybody has to learn how to cook and eat their fruits and vegetables so that they can get healthy, is how I was thinking originally. Um, but I just knew it was gonna be a great opportunity and something that disastrous and chaotic. I don't think I realized the extent of that with all the political stuff and everything. But yeah, I knew it in my heart. Like I already knew what it was.
Like that
For the
there was
most part.
something bigger at play here. Like, because me personally, and just because you and I haven't had these conversations before, I'll bring it up. And if any of you who are watching and first time here, hello again. I'll share this story with you. So I had basically a vision way before 2010. Basically seeing the 2020s people that I know now. I
Wow.
can't make that up. So my father, I've seen the 2020s of my father back in before 2010. All the people that I've met recently, and between you, because now I remember you, Priscilla, Benji, and a bunch of other people from the disclosure team, as well as Laura and other folks that even live around me, I felt like I've met them all before. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny how that works. And as soon as COVID happened, I was like, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh yeah, SARS in the early 2000s. I'm like, where it's global masks. I'm not talking about like 5 people or have a case. No, I mean like this has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was basically given the vision of this time period and how we were sent down here to basically reshift that balance and go back to the way humanity was back in ancient civilizations, because we lost who the hell we used to be.
Yeah.
We lost who we used to be. Like,
You
yeah, there's
forgot.
cultures on this planet that still follow suit, but the majority of the planet forgot, as you said, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it is heartbreaking. But they literally told me, like, the 2020s pandemic, like, that's the shift. Like, they told me about that. So I'm like, are y'all doing this? Or what? But it's just interesting
Did
to
you think that was weird at the time, having this vision?
girl, I'll tell you, I woke up the next morning, I'm like, a pandemic? Okay. Because
What?
it was like one of those dreams where, well, first off, I was still in middle school. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, a dream's probably just a dream. I still wrote it down, but I don't have my dream journals from back then anymore. But it was really weird. And like
Yeah.
tons of people were dying left and right. But I think that's just more of a worry of losing your loved ones rather than a lot of people actually physically dying. But it was really weird. I literally woke up the next day like, oh, please, that's not going to happen. And then fast forward, what, 10, 12 years later, I'm
Wow.
25 and here we are. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
snap. All these people are real. This actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we shifted worlds or something. It's
Yeah.
weird. Like as soon as the
It
clock struck COVID, everything was deja vu.
Wow. And that brings up a crazy point. That was one of the first things that the star beings taught me, was that because they kept showing me the number 3 and I'm like, what's that mean?
Oh my god,
And
same.
and I think it could be kind of different things depending on, what the specific message is for you, but they showed me this YouTube video, and I watched it, and it was explaining that the significance of the number 3 was for the past, present, and future, and that it's all actually happening at the same time, and it's all connected. So
Yes.
that really tripped me out. So that's how you can have like these visions or premonitions, because somewhere on an alternate timeline or on another plane, it's happening right now
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Like literally the start to finish. Well, there's not even a start to finish, but literally everything in every form of every thought, way, purpose, event could happen, has happened, and will happen. That's
Mm-hmm.
why some people are able to see visions from other parts of their lives and
Mm-hmm.
God, everything else. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
already had visions where that had to pertain to people that I know personally getting into car accidents, and they've happened.
Oh no.
Um, I called out someone cheating on my friend. That was another one. Predicted a job. But the whole COVID thing is just, it's weird how it's woken up so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Just as soon as it happened, it's like there's something bigger going on here.
For
And it's a
sure.
fat reset button. I like the way you said that. I do. But anyways, sorry to get off the side of the road there, but I
Good.
do have a next question for you. And if you're not okay with sharing it, that's fine, because I know some people are personal with their spiritual information. But if you had any lessons or objectives so far since you've been on Earth that you know about?
Tons and tons of lessons. But I think for objectives, what I got whenever this started going on, I just knew I had to share it with people and to help spread awareness. And whenever I was doing a CE5 and connecting with them, they telepathically told me that I'm to share the beauty of making contact and like the beauty of, connecting with them, and also discovering who we all really are, activating our DNA, because scientists say like 98% of it is junk DNA, which we all know that nature never does anything by accident.
No.
Yeah, so there's a purpose there, and so I think that's really my main objective, is sharing, teaching, and helping others to awaken, and just learning what I can. And for lessons, man, there's been so many. um, there's like a lesson every day, I feel like, honestly.
Hey, did you wipe your ass today? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Really, probably one of the biggest ones that I've learned is that, it's all about energetics, and it's all about frequency and vibration. And that's new to me. I didn't know anything about that. But, well, you can sense energy. You know that energy is important. But, the universe is mental, and there's these universal laws in the Emerald Tablets, supposedly written by Thoth, the Atlantean. If you want to check that out, or if anyone would be interested in that, it has universal laws in it, and that's like one of the main things, is the universe is mental. So your thoughts and what you're thinking, you really have to become a master of your mind. So I think that's been kind of my biggest lesson, learning how to work that energy and manipulate it to have the best possible outcome, and have more positive experiences. And another one is releasing trauma, letting go of old trauma. I think with the great shift that's happening right now, because we've had all these previous lives before, we're really old souls, we've got a lot of baggage and things that could be affecting us, that like trust issues or a phobia against something. All of these things can actually come from other lifetimes. And I think this is kind of the lifetime where all of that's coming to the surface, and it's getting kind of chaotic. And so just learning to kind of become aware of that and heal and release it.
I like the way you put that.
Thank you.
Because that makes sense. I'm here thinking about my phobias. I'm like, I mean, my biggest one's cockroaches, but that could have been just because I was trying to go to the bathroom one day and I flung the toilet paper roll and it came out of the toilet paper roll and I was freaking out. But
yeah, I don't like spiders.
Like, no.
And I've always felt had like a weird fear about like car accidents. So I probably died in a car crash before or something. But one that the star beings showed me, and I was out on a jog, and then suddenly, just like as I closed my eyes, I got a flash of, and this is kind of intense, but a woman burning at the stake. And I had this vision before, and they told me, this is one of your past lives, and you're holding on to a lot of trauma from this life. Yeah, it was back in like old England times, where they were burning, like they burned millions of women for witchcraft or spirituality.
Literally, you sneeze and you're a girl, you're getting burned.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are a healer trying to spread the message like we do, trying to heal naturally, and trying to, anything esoteric, I'm sure they're probably like, that's dark magic, or,
Yeah.
whatever. And so that that was causing a big fear of being able to be myself and publicly help people and spread the message. So they basically told me, you got to become aware of this, and then you got to let it all out. And it was like a very emotional night, but afterwards I felt better.
Yeah, well, because you're slowly remembering who you were, and it's heartbreaking, but at the same time you feel like you're finding your way closer and closer to your answers and home.
Yeah,
it's an emotional roller coaster for damn sure. My gosh,
it is.
I did want to go to the chat real quick because I know it's been a minute, but Diesel Girl mentioned, since we were talking about the shift, how it'll be worth it, and I think so. And it's
100.
kind of funny how multiple people have noticed this. Like, I thought I was the only one, and then next thing I know, I'm running down the Starseed line, and I'm running into all these people, and I'm like, oh shit, let you look at that. Like, everyone has all these similarities, and it's wild. And then Benji mentioned, going back to the number 3, how it's a divine number, past, present, future, as you said. Oh my, yeah, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, body, soul. It is practically like a number of unison. Almost like it brings everything together. And I don't know why 3s are always sent our way, but like for me, I see a lot of 333s and 313. Like, I'm not kidding. My boyfriend and I just had Cracker Barrel, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a breakfast joint somewhere in the South, I guess. But literally our ticket number was 333.
Yep.
And he said, that's fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because he's slowly starting to notice. And now he's like, okay, you know what? I know you're not crazy. Like, it's not that he thought I was. He's just like, you
don't believe it until
energy wants that black and white proof.
Yeah.
Not to be sexist, it's just a fact. The masculine energy just focuses more on concrete evidence. So when it comes to number synchronicities, that's like a good beginning step for, the masculine to start notice that, like, oh, this stuff is actually like legit. And then aside from his car accident that I called.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting night, but
see, I'm psychic.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not that it's something that I asked for, it just happened. Because that literally, that one dream, like COVID, meeting all these people, giving down the run line, it's like they showed me my entire life ahead of me that same night.
Wow.
If you've seen the movie Click by chance, it's literally like that scene when Morty takes Adam Sandler in the blue room and flips his life ahead of him, like all in one night.
Yeah.
So it's like, fast forward, it's like all of these memories start to come back. Do you do any kinds of like meditations or anything that help you remember? Like, what's your secret to remembering?
So yeah, affirmations are huge. And I turned into like a monk and was meditating like every day for a couple months for a while there. But I started off easy, just meditating for 10-15 minutes in the shower as you work on developing the skill and being able to calm your mind. But yeah, I've done tons of meditations. But a big thing is, while I was listening to meditation music, and I would listen to frequency music to help raise the frequency. And if you know about like the crown chakra, that's how we, and the third eye, that's how we receive information. So I focused on those energy centers, but I want to give a disclaimer. Don't focus only on those, because you'll get undergrounded really quick and it can get bad really quick. So I would start at the bottom and work your way up, but I would focus on those, receiving information, and open up to that universal connection. And I would repeat affirmations. I am activating my Starseed DNA. I am remembering who I am. And I did that every day, every day. And as I would do that, and I am developing my psychic gifts, I would see it like happen right before my eyes. I was testing it out while I was meditating, and I would test it out while I was meditating, kind of just playing around with different energy techniques and different affirmations and ways of thinking. And whenever I'd say these things, I could feel and see the visions getting stronger and just feel like a bigger connection. So yeah, I think affirmations are huge. It's 8/11 right now, and that's a number I've been seeing all the time.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
well here.
Oh, for here, it's 9/11. Funny short story with 9/11. I used to see 9/11 on the clock all the time. And then my aunt happened to get married on 9/11. That was a funny one. And she is also super psychic. She's not tech savvy, so I know she's legit on this. She was on the phone with me one time and she told me that she had like a vision of these like praying mantis looking things.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure people have heard of like the praying mantis looking figures, but she said that she had a vision. And I'm curious if you or anybody in the chat has any resonance to this. She said that she saw basically a Stargate was blocked and there were lines of light beings, but that the door was shut and they're not letting people through because something's stopping it, which I guess is maybe our hiccup that's going on Earth. So she said these praying mantis people were the guardians of these gates and that they wouldn't let anybody through, but that they weren't hostile or anything. And then I ended up doing research and I'm like, dude, I found this website, DebbieSolaris.com, and she talks about all the Starseed stuff. It's practically a really popular website to learn about Starseed stuff. If you haven't gone there before, I will totally send you the link later or drop it in the description. But they talk about the Antares Stargate, and that connects the Milky Way and Andromeda Galaxy. And the guardians that guarded this gate were praying mantis people.
Oh my God.
So it's like, I know she's not making that up.
Yeah. Who was that? Who saw that?
My aunts.
Your aunt?
My father's older sister, yes.
Does she know anything about starseeds or star beings or anything?
Well, now she does, because when I was on my trip last summer, her and I had a lot of heart-to-heart convos, and I was pretty much telling her what's been happening to me too. And she's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And she also resonates a little bit towards Sirius, because she always has a calling to the ocean, towards the ocean. She literally recently just moved down to the shore house over in Jersey. And she's like, I don't know, just something was calling me back to the water. And I'm like, you might be a Syrian, because they have all the whales and dolphins, and they're like practically the popular water planet that a lot of people know about. But when I told her about the praying mantis people, she's like, that's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. You know what's interesting is I just heard this from somebody else the other day, that their dad took DMT, and whenever they did that, he saw praying mantis beings. And I don't remember what they said to him or whatever, but you know, they say whenever you do that, you see different beings. And so that's another person who had no idea about star beings or anything. That's just like so much proof right there.
Literally. Yes. It's like, for I don't want to say normal people, because that's going to sound mean, but for the people who haven't awakened or who aren't exposed to this topic, the fact that they're able to connect to it too, that gives us hope, because it's like, it's starting. The shift is happening. It's happening. So that's cool. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with the praying mantis people. Actually, speaking of DMT, I happened to go see this. Oh, and thank you, Nick, for hopping into the chat, even though you probably already left. But thank you. She said that my dad had a DMT trip and seen praying mantis beings around the Earth.
Oh yeah, I think he's the one who told me about it. Yeah, that's awesome.
I was just like, just imagine you see these things and their eyes are like this big, like on the side of their heads, and they're, oh God.
Yeah, it's so fascinating that there are beings, like there's lion beings, there's feline beings, there's the avians that are half bird beings. There's all these different beings, and it makes you wonder. So if we have birds and lions and all these cats and all these praying mantises and all these things on Earth, it would seem like their genetics are connected somehow, right? Like, did they just take samples of everybody and put it on Earth, or what? It's been said that Earth is the most diverse place. There's just all different kinds of life here. So that's just a really interesting
it is
interesting point. Yeah,
it is an interesting point. If you go, I believe, I forgot what it was I was watching on Gaia, but it was basically saying, I was half asleep and I heard this, that they were saying that Earth is basically the final experiment per se. So that would make sense on how we have all of these different beings and races and species here that have the connection to these other constellations. That could make sense. So
yeah, but apparently Earth is very, very, very important, and there's a lot of eyes on Earth right now. there's also a lot of beings that are helping us. You know, we all have like our own entourage with us. We just may not see them, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of like light beings. There's even angels, and that tripped me out whenever I saw my first angel, and I was like, whoa, they're real? They really exist? But they really do. So we've got a lot of helpers and a lot of eyes right now.
Do. And it's up to us to receive the information and spread the word. We're all prophets for these beings. We're literally here to be the wave that shifts everything. So
And to anchor that the cosmic energy and bring down the different light codes from Sirius or from Lyra, from all these places, and so that we can evolve and eventually be back with our star families.
yeah, I've been crying like I miss you guys so much. I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
They're like, you agreed to be here. I'm like, did I know? I don't remember that. Get it? Because we go through amnesia. I don't remember saying that, so you can't hold me to this.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad because a lot of people, like I'll get comments on TikTok and stuff. A lot of people just really hate being here. A lot of starseeds really hate being here. And they just want their star family to come take them away, which I've been guilty of thinking that. And I know that it's really hard sometimes. But, you know, in the end, we did agree to be here. But we can also ask for assistance from, you know, our star families and stuff, and they'll help. We're just going through kind of a rough patch, but then we will be able to make once it's all said and done, it'll be so worth it. So
yes, absolutely. And I'm so eager to see how it's going to be. Like, just fast forward 10 years from now, who knows where we're going to be? 10 years ago, social media was at its peak. And then here we are. It's already evolved, and it's like 10 years from now, who knows? Like, are we going to start seeing more light orbs just casually going through the skies? Like, are we going to be more accepting of this?
I think it's big. I think it's going to get big over the next couple of years. During a meditation once, whenever I was connecting with the Lyrans, I asked, like, when are you guys just going to come down already? Like, when are you going to, when can I meet you? And, you know, in person. And I got the number 2030s is when they'll be coming down. Yeah. So I think it's going to happen faster than we think.
That is so funny that you said that, because I remember hearing 33, like, remember 33? So maybe 2033? I don't know, because we've seen a lot of threes, like maybe March 3rd, 2033.
It could be.
Who knows? And that's funny. 10 years from now is going to be then.
If it happens, we're going to have to like get in contact with everybody. Like, look, we called it.
Yeah, no, basically it's like, hey, y'all thought we were crazy? You see? You see that? Yeah, no, the sky's falling. Yeah, Chicken Little's right. Okay. But anyways, so to going back to the questions, you kind of brushed up on this earlier, but I kind of wanted to go into depth with it. What are your current psychic gifts that you have developed?
So the third eye and vision has been really big one for me, and the feeling, claircognizance, but the vision has been the one that, for the most part, that I've been practicing hard and developing. And clairaudience recently, I actually was in meditation the other day, and I saw like the silhouettes of the Pleiadians in a spaceship, and I heard, like, plain as day, excursion. And I was like, what? I didn't even know what excursion meant. I had to look it up, and it means like a trip, or like they were going on a trip. And so that just really tripped me out.
Pun intended.
Yeah, it really tripped me out. So that one's kind of newer, but really clairvoyance and vision. And my first actual intense experience with that, which for anybody who, well, everybody has a gift, has something that they're more in tune to or more just naturally gifted at. Your first experience, I think I heard this from Priscilla, your first experience could be the most intense. And so that's how I first realized that that's what my gift was. I was in a meditation, and suddenly, like, I was just blasted off to another, like, planet. Like, it looked like a movie was playing in kind of fast forward, all these different movie scenes. And it was just, I didn't know this at the time, but it was just taking me through all my past lives. And I looked like I was literally in this movie set. Whenever I was done, I was like, I felt like I was about to float away. It was really intense.
Wait. So this was like a meditation, and
Yes.
you just so I guess that's kind of similar to what I was talking about, how you were able to see your entire life, but you said multiple lives.
Yes,
That's the
exactly.
difference.
Yeah, I almost said that whenever you mentioned that because I had a similar experience, but mine was like going backwards. Like I saw, or maybe not backwards, but just other lifetimes.
Yeah, multiple aside from Lily Nova's future self.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And that
And
that further proves that there's something going on here because we both clearly had a very similar experience with that.
mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm.
and even with Benji in the chat, if I can call you out, Benji, he's been definitely helping me with Arcturian stuff because I have a mix of the two, Orion and Arcturian. But just it's just the stuff is just wild. It's
Yeah. I would love to say, by the way, I freaking love the Octurians. I love them.
cool.
Yeah, they are such they're just such balanced, intelligent, positive beings, so peaceful. Like whenever I see them, it's just a very like you can tell they're very evolved. They're like the most technologically advanced, and they've helped me a lot with doing like healing energy and doing meditations with them. For meditations, I would also suggest, which I'm going to be recording some, but if you feel a drawing like towards a certain star seed type, or I would find some meditations on connecting with them and see where it leads. But yeah, they're beautiful beings. I love them.
And they could be extremely sarcastic and comical. Like, I don't remember how long ago this was, but I was driving, coming back here from my boyfriend's, which is like an over an hour trip, and I was testing them. And if those of you who haven't seen this interviews before that I've had, I'll share this story again. I was just driving, testing things, and I'm like, you know what? If this is actually legit and you're who I'm talking to, send me an orange car on my left, okay? And then just an orange truck drove by, like literally within 30 seconds. And I'm like, okay, send me a second one right now. And literally right behind that went orange semi.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I just heard like an audience laughing in my head.
Yeah.
So I was like, y'all funny. Y'all think this is funny, huh?
That's awesome.
I was like, you're funny, but okay.
That's awesome.
It's wild, but
the
it's pretty
universe is
cool.
playful. The universe is playful. It likes
Yeah.
whenever you just play, be lighthearted. That's another big lesson, is trying to be lighthearted about things and have fun.
Oh, let's see. Oh, Priscilla said, "Hey, girl, hey!" I'm looking at the chat. Everyone's saying hi to Priscilla already. Okay, bet. Oh, Benji has.
What's up, Priscilla?
Benji says, out of all the sacred geometric patterns out there, oh, okay. So this is pertaining to your merch, which I like, by the way. And it's kind of funny because I thought the same thing before I met you. I was like, there's no Starseed merch anywhere. We need Starseed merch because that could help spread it even more. And then I meet you and I'm like, yes. Sorry, headphone users. But anyway,
yeah.
So, that symbol for the Arcturian specifically. How? Why?
So I asked them, kind of said like a little prayer or set the intention out, asked them to help me pick out symbols for all of them. And then I kind of just went with my intuition. But also the Metatron's cube is all about turning into like the physical manifestation, to manifesting in the material world. And the Arcturians are very physical, like they have bodies and reproduce like us. So that's kind of what and a master's in technology. So that's kind of why I picked that one. And I felt a calling towards it.
It's so cool. Yeah, because we were looking at them and I was like, there's literally a different symbol for each. And it's so cool to just I already like geometry, so I just think that they're satisfying looking, and then here we are, they're on it.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And how I picked for the Pleiadians, it's the sacred flower of life. And if you look back, and I heard it somewhere, and if you look back in ancient civilizations, the sacred flower was big, like all over the place. And I believe that's what the Pleiadians were using to, teach people, like back in the day. So I think that one's heavily connected with them. And the Lyrans, I chose the seed of life because that's where everybody came from. They were the first beings. They were like the seed. They were the beginning of this galaxy.
Yes, ma'am, they were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's messed up what happened to them. And I'm just curious. So going back to the Lyrans and all the reptilian stuff, what do you think the reptilian, like, do you think like they're actually here with us, like with these high tech suits that make them look like humans, some people say, or if they're in a different dimension that we can't see? Like, I'm just
I
curious
think it's
what your opinion is.
probably a mixture of both, and I believe a lot of them are underground. And it wouldn't surprise me that they could literally like morph and change their bodies, um, or do something else high tech that we couldn't even shape shifting. Which I'm a little like, oh, I don't know about that. But out of some of the things I've seen, I'm like, I guess it's possible. So I think there are a lot of them here. And at first, I didn't want to believe the reptilian thing.
Yeah, because it's like the whole government, and like Mark Zuckerberg was the biggest one that blew out. Because apparently there was a meme where like he was so pale and his eyes were so black. People were like, "Oh, Mark Zuckerberg's reptilian." But I
Yeah.
agree. It was hard to not to understand the concept, because like, we've heard about reptilian, the word, the name, the breed, the
Mm-hmm.
species type for forever. But then
Mm-hmm.
it's like I can understand metaphorically how they could
Mm-hmm.
exist, but where are
For
they?
real? For
Yeah.
real?
Yeah, because apparently they brought down all the negativity that like separates and divides us between, politics and supposedly rape.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they would rape some beings over in the Lyran constellations before they destroyed their planets to try and, steal DNA and resources and reproduce.
Yeah. Well, and so I've been reading a couple books from a chick named Elena Danan, and she has two wonderful books. One of them is on it. It talks about her abduction, and she goes in detail about the reptilians and the greys, and well, not all greys are bad, but the ones that were employed or cloned or whatever by the reptilians. And she has a very strong relationship with the Pleiadians, where she's actually like been on their ships. She illustrates all of her experiences. It's really freaking nuts. But she goes in depth about that whole thing, and that kind of like solidified it a little bit more, because it ended up just making sense. But yeah, with the abductions and the sex trafficking and all of that stuff going on, I think the reptilians are apparently, it's not just on Earth, like it's on a galactic scale. Like these
Yeah,
things are happening all over the place. So that's why Earth is so important, because if we could stop it while it's in the beginning stages, then we will be able to prevent so many more bad things from happening.
we really
Um,
could.
mhm. And if they aren't here physically underground or whatever, which I think that there probably are some at least, um, they use that technology of negative vibrations to make people feel like shit and to invoke fear in people. So even if they wouldn't be here physically, they're mentally messing with people.
Yeah.
So
And it's messed up because it's like we don't need any more of that stuff here. We're already
right.
so divided as it is, and especially when COVID happened and all the race wars that were intentionally, planned, which
Mm-hmm.
is so messed up. It's like, can we get over this, please, and just
Mm-hmm.
not try and fight anymore? Like, why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
and apparently
yeah,
from those books that I was reading from Elena Danan, and kind of in my heart, it also says, we're getting close, and if we could just make it through this, then we'll be good.
yeah.
It's kind of like we're at the peak of the shit show.
No, literally, we're about to shit this shit. Like, I honestly do believe that in our lifetime we will see these beings again. And I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to Benji about this. Sorry to call you out again, Benji, but I told him that I basically had the vision. Um, so I was basically told that I would meet all of y'all over Instagram. Now, they didn't say Instagram specifically. The way
Social.
they described it, they were like the beings on Earth in the future, whenever you're going to exist, they are going to develop this kind of technology that allows them to connect globally or internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe is that the word for global? I'll just say globally because I can't think right now. But they were basically telling me that there's devices that allows humans to connect globally better than ever before, and that they had these things that allow you to. I don't know how they described applications, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't say applications. They didn't say Instagram, but they said that there's this app,
Mm-hmm.
and when you use it, you'll be able to meet these other people who are sent here just like you for the same purpose, and you guys will be the first to remember.
Wow.
And that you have to recruit who you can to spread the word. If people won't accept it, that's fine, because we're coming back either way.
Mm-hmm.
Literally that. And I goosebumps went up and down my body when Benji told me he had the same exact thing. Like he was
Wow.
told the same thing. That just basically we're prophets and to spread the word however we can because they're coming back. And it's like, do you know how cool that'd be to, going back to what you were saying in the 2030s, that they get to come back here and we
Mm-hmm.
actually get to see them. Like I really hope and strongly do cross my fingers that, we get to see this in our lifetimes right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. 100%. And I think just reaching out and connecting with our star families or doing like CE5 contact is just on a personal level is going to help so much and just propel so much in our ascension. It really helped with my ascension. And that's kind of what my main thing is right now, is I just want to help connect people with their star families. And then, of course, like showing evidence here and there, but, and then just our light, just from us remembering who we are, the person next to us is going to begin to remember who they are. Like your boyfriend, now he's seeing signs and synchronicities. He has no choice.
he does it. He's even like, oh, okay, clearly there's something else going on here. And I'm like, at least you don't think I'm crazy at this point. And then even with my dad, he's like, whoa, that's so cool. Mimicking him. And I'm like, yeah, it happens. But who knows what the future holds with this. It's coming. It's scary, but it is coming. But I did want to ask another question that I end up finding in the chat. And Laura, I'm so sorry you asked this a while ago, but I ended up seeing it. If you happen to be drawn to other kinds of symbols aside from the one from your merch store, I assume.
Great question. So one of the first ones and biggest ones is the Ankh, the ancient Egyptian, and the eye. And let me see if I have a couple written on my the infinity symbol, and even apparently just from writing these symbols and seeing these symbols, it's triggering awakening in us. Like they contain light codes that, just like how the advertisers do for like McDonald's and Pepsi and all that stuff, they design things in a way that it triggers something in your mind. And that, like, you could look stuff up on that. Like it's legit. It sounds weird, but it's legit. Some of these sacred symbols, they do the same thing. And so I meditated on like the Ankh, and then I started remembering memories of Atlantis and in ancient Egypt. So these can be used as symbols to help you unlock memories, basically. So the Ankh was a big one. The trident was a big one for me. The eye, and then of course sacred geometry. But those are the big ones that I'm thinking of right now. Ankh is a really great symbol.
The Ankh, yeah. I think from what I understood when I was watching stuff on Gaia, that it literally was just like a person, like pretty much like, I guess, like opening up and receiving the light, and that the loop on the top was basically to connect to the divine. From what I understand.
But it may have been used as like an energetic device too, like physically. I think I might have heard that somewhere on Gaia too, but it could have been like an advanced piece of technology that we have, just like the pyramids. Like we know that they look advanced, they're advanced, but we don't know how to work them yet. Something kind of like that. Yeah.
Like honestly, like ancient civilizations, like in my opinion, I think they had way more of an evolution than we do. However, we are able to live longer given modern medicine and stuff like that, compared to them, but they had the mathematics and the technology that we're missing. Because I'm here like, where's all the fun stuff? I'm sorry, but we don't need a new smart TV to where we don't need a remote. We already have smart TVs. Why do we need to make another TV to not have a remote? That's literally voice operated. Like, what? Where's all the fun stuff? Where's like giant robots that can help pick out trash out of the ocean or something, like, or flying cars that operate solely off of solar panels, or solar energy, so we don't have to use gas and damage the ozone layer even more. And I don't know.
Hopefully
so
it's coming.
I'm hoping. We're all hoping. Like, the world needs to be fixed. And as Laura, I just saw this comment where how she says she also has the message to prepare and protect. And it's like, we have to protect this planet. But
I love that.
Hard to. And there's apparently so many water crises that are happening in third world countries and trash issues. It's like, I hope we don't damage Earth entirely, but Mother Nature will always win. If we end up destroying her enough, she will destroy us. So.
Yeah. Apparently that's what happened with Atlantis too.
That they got too, what, like...
Too greedy or too power, hungry. There wasn't a balance. They got too much into power, and Mother Nature said, nope.
Basically, I think it's funny that you say that, because I think there was something on Gaia that basically said how Atlantis wanted to be the #1 civilization in the world at the time, because they were so advanced compared to average other civilizations, to the point where they ended up fighting with Mu, which happened to be another old ancient civilization like Atlantis, which is also different than Lemuria. So apparently there's 3, not just Atlantis and Lemuria. There's also Mu. But apparently Atlantis was fighting, well, the Atlantean people were fighting these other civilizations for their power. So and here I am, growing up watching Disney's Atlantis, and I'm like, oh, it's so peaceful and everything. No.
But isn't it interesting how you were I was drawn to the Disney Atlantis, and I don't, you just don't, I didn't know why, but I was really drawn to that and, some other things where you're like, oh, that's why, because
fast legit. Forward now we get the clarity. It's like, I wanted explanation 15 years ago, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so moving on, we are almost done with the questions. What I have for you now is, what is your best piece of evidence? And when I say that, I don't mean like, hey, we have to like prove it to everybody else, but if someone comes up to you saying you're psycho, prove it to me. Well,
I've got tons of UFO pictures and footage. So that would probably that would be the main thing, was, look at the evidence. And I have been able to change a lot of people's minds through that and open a lot of people's minds. At first, they were resistant. In the beginning, whenever I was, telling my family and telling my friends that I was seeing these things, they're like, yeah, right, you're seeing things, whatever, brushed it off. But as, I stuck with it and started like, collecting, actually getting hardcore evidence, and also, I don't know, like the signs and synchronicities and things just kind of started falling into place. Signs and synchronicities, it's kind of hard to explain that to people, but like, that's hardcore proof right there that you're interacting with
something.
Yeah.
And that's, going back to the whole my boyfriend thing. Yeah, literally. And I can only imagine with other people how they're like, oh. Because even at first, even like you were saying, when you were first going through your awakening, you're like, this seems like a little too fairy tale for me, but sure, let's roll with it.
It's like, it's a little weird, but
let's give it a chance, Yeah. And then after a while, you're like, oh, okay, this is actually legit. But I was actually curious, are you we to share one of the CE Vive videos that you showed me before we met? I would like the chat to see this video, because I think this one's really cool. I'm not gonna spoil it this time. Well, CE5 video.
The one with the beam?
Yes. That one's cool.
Yeah, that one is cool. Oh, I lost it. Hold on just a second. Sorry, guys.
There you go.
Oh, no. Okay, here it is. All right. Share. Yeah, that one was nuts. This was my second encounter. And I like stayed up like recording them and filming them like all night. Because I couldn't believe my eyes. But so, okay, let me pause it real quick. Can you guys see it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is a big craft that was in front of me. You can see the the lights on it. And then if you look at the one on the left, a light beam is going to appear from this thing.
That's so cool. That is so cool. That is so freaking cool. How long ago was that?
This was last year. This was last winter. This was my second encounter ever. I can show you guys an orb real quick too of I did during a CE5 recently.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, it's Orion! Get out!
Yeah. And then look at the bottom left.
Bottom left. Oh! Oh my god! Yo. You can even see the transparency in that thing too.
Uh-huh.
Lily, what state do you live in?
Missouri.
I need to come by and do some CE5 with you.
Yeah, there's a big one. There it is up close.
I wish there were Tampa folks wanting to do CE5. So
yeah. Wow. And I think that's one of the big things is, anybody can do this. Anybody can make contact. And that also it's fun. It's fun. And people can see it until you see it firsthand. It just changes your life. So anybody can do this. And there are meditations and stuff that you can do on that. But I highly recommend it. And trying to push people to get more excited, get excited and try it out for themselves. And I think the world is changing. People are becoming more open to it. So it's exciting stuff.
It really is. It's just nice to know that we all have these similar, I guess, paths or interests or resonances that we're finally having the answers that we've been searching for. And it's like just looking back on things that happened throughout your entire life, you realize, oh, that's why this happens. And it's all falling into place. It's wild.
Yeah. Speaking of that, real quick, I was an artist. I drew a lot growing up, and I used to draw feline people, like cat heads and
for the Proves the Lyran thing.
Yeah, and human bodies, and I would make up stories about them. I had different characters and stuff. And now, once I learned that about the Lyrans, and I'm like, oh, no wonder. So little things like that.
Literally. That's so cool. Do you have any pictures of them that you've drawn? I mean, I understand they're so long ago, but
I actually recreated a little drawing. I don't know where it is this second. But I do want to draw them, like the ones that I see, to help, because I think it's kind of hard for people to imagine what these beings look like. So I actually do want to do series soon on YouTube and everything where I'm explaining experiences with them, and I'm actually drawing, drawing them, so people can kind of follow along with that. So that is to come.
Everybody drop her what is a sub on YouTube? Or
sub.
even though you're not paying, go ahead and drop a follow or subscribe on Lily's YouTube channel, because she's gonna have a lot of interesting stuff. God, I cannot talk. Interesting stuff come out. I'm already subscribed. I'm looking forward to the meditations, especially. Yeah, because I think that'll be cool. And if you're gonna be drawing these beings, that's definitely gonna help, because there's not a lot of people who, one, have seen them, and number two, are artistic enough to draw them on top of that. So you might have a lot of answers for people that, you might show a picture that you drew to somebody, they're like, oh my God, I just dreamed about that last night.
Yeah, exactly. And just looking through these, seeing these things, just with the symbols, it can trigger a remembering in you. So that's what I'm going for. And the meditations are going to be super important too. So yeah, I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited for you. Honestly, I think this is so cool that we have so much to share and just bring together with this. It's awesome. But
and the merch.
Yeah.
We need to say it loud and proud and help spread this movement, help seed it in the collective consciousness. So whenever people are able to see it and start thinking about it, things are going to change so quickly.
Yeah. Rapidly too. And the fact that, like, again, all these ancient civilizations have mentioned these exact same constellations thousands of years ago.
Yep, the proof's there.
Literally, like, all you have to do is just open your eyes, have an open mind to it. I don't know if anybody has seen Don't Look Up yet on Netflix, but oh my gosh, that's literally what we're going through right now.
Yeah, I just watched that. It is.
Oh my gosh, that movie stressed me out.
I was just about to say it was hard to watch, but I was like, damn it,
Was.
like that's like real life though. Hard to
It's
watch.
kind of scary how accurate they made that movie, because I was like, wow, this is literally what the world's turned to. It's just wild. But I do have one more question for you. And if anybody in the chat has any follow-up questions for Lily, go ahead and start dropping them in the comment section. We've brushed about this multiple times, but in case you had any more, if you have any more resources or tips for those who are still maybe awakening.
So I actually just uploaded a quick mantra on my YouTube before this that has kind of some affirmations and a little, I don't know if you'd call it like a prayer to help connect with your star family. But our intentions are so powerful, and just setting the intention that you are remembering and, wanting to learn more about this and connect with your star family, it's gonna really help bring some answers. Some other tips would be meditating. Even if you do just 10 minutes a day in the shower, that's how I started. That's how a lot of things are gonna just begin to come to you naturally, and you'll be able to begin developing your gifts. So affirmations, meditations, and setting intentions would be kind of and resting.
Lots of resting. Oh my gosh, because you can be so drained from downloading this information, trying to decipher it and figure out what it means.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I ran myself rugged for a while there, just like investigating everything. And I'm sure a lot of, other people can relate. Sleep is so important. And actually, whenever we do sleep, we can connect with these higher dimensional beings more easily in the astral realm. So we're actually doing a lot of work in our sleep too. And we can get answers that way. Just wake up with suddenly like, oh, there's the answer to my problem. So that would be my other tip, is make sure that you get good rest. And don't feel bad if you're tired. It's okay.
And don't think you're crazy, because this is more real than it's not.
That
too.
Most
important thing.
That too.
Don't disbelieve in yourself. Have that confidence. Have that belief.
But there's a reason why you feel that way, or you're drawn to something. Our gut feeling is usually always right. So
it is, and it's just so wild. And I know I keep going back to this, but just to see everything unfold, it's like, holy crap! I thought it was just a dream, and here we are.
Yep. And we all have a piece to the puzzle. So
that's what I mean. Like, we all have something to bring to the table here, as like what they were telling me above. Like, me and all of us that are connecting right now, we will be we are the first to remember. Literally, that's what they said, word for word. You will be the first to remember. Like, you as in me and all of us here right now that are talking about this.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It is. It's so cool and freaky, but awesome and badass at the same time.
So we'll be paving the way for the people to come. And there will be many, many more.
And I've started to notice too that a lot of newborns and toddlers, basically, I guess like our generation's having kids, a lot of them are super like energetic and I guess like rainbow children out the ass. Like, they're everywhere. They're super sweet and super grounding and just super loving, super nurturing. They're
already woke.
Yeah.
They're already woke.
And if anybody's raising kids, Ask them about their dreams.
Yeah.
Believe what they say. If they say they saw something, believe them, because children are more connected. That's why children are so valuable in the Bible and stuff, is because they literally just came from that dimension.
Source.
They just came from that. So they are so fresh with all this knowledge and all these gifts and all these powers that I think people need to study that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the kids being born now, there's not going to be a problem with them. It's just basically like our generation and older needs to get its shit together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the kids will be fine. We just got to allow the old system to fall and nurture these kids, because they probably have more answers than we do.
Yeah, and they can remember a lot more. It's like kids can't make up that much stuff. Like they're going to talk about what they saw. They're parakeets. They literally mimic and replicate what they've been exposed to. So
Yeah.
I do have a question in the chat. We have a question that says, may I ask for a personal reading? Because you mentioned you do stars.
Yeah. Gina, do you have a Instagram? If you could reach out to me on there, I can do a reading for you.
Yes, I have Lily's link tree in the description of this YouTube video. Hopefully it's there. And on the link tree, it has all of her necessary social media profiles, her merch store, where you can contact her for personal readings. I might hit you up on a personal reading.
Let's do it, girl.
I might have to, because you never know what answers you might find. But
yeah, and what I've noticed it's really interesting because even though, I've been developing my psychic abilities and we all have our unique gifts, having another person's perspective, they may pick up on things that you haven't thought of yet. Just like one of the clairvoyant picked up on the Lyrans, the psychic picked up on the Pleiadians before I, had developed my gifts. So, yeah, it's just pretty interesting. It's always nice getting a second input and insight into it as well.
It is. It's funny how you say like having that that clarity, or what's the word I'm looking for? I guess that I can't think of the word. Never mind.
It escapes. It'll come back to you after the show.
I was like, well, what's the word that like I can't even describe what the word is I'm trying to think of. Wow, I'm dead today.
You're good. You're good. It's okay.
It's like having confirmation.
Confirmation, yes.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Because even Priscilla Quantum Witch, she recommended another Starseed channeler who I contacted and did a reading with, and within the first 10 seconds, he's like, okay, Orion and Arcturian, and he went into it, and I was like,
wow, yeah.
Like everybody literally brings in a piece to the puzzle. We're a gigantic potluck here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So
100%.
If anybody else has any other questions, go ahead and ask them now. Lily, if you would like anything else to say.
I think I can't think of anything at the second. Just hang in there.
Yeah.
We'll say that. Yeah, just hang in there. And it's, don't stress yourself out or think you have to have everything figured out right away. It's the universe kind of just leaves you breadcrumbs, and it's like we get another piece of the puzzle as we go, and also community, like just having you guys to talk to and meeting other starseeds is so huge.
It helps a lot. So thank you to you. And thank you to everybody else who is here and everybody else who is on Earth here for this mission. Whatever's going to happen, we're all here together. So.
And we got backup up there.
We do. We do. We got the best backup. We're above the U.S. military at this point.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We got this. We got this.
Well, thank you for coming on tonight. You had a fantastic energy here tonight.
Thank you.
Of course, as well as Priscilla and Benji, but thank you for being here tonight. This was definitely really cool. And if anybody wants to, have an interview with me and help share their Starseed stuff, even to do a second interview, if you would like to do it again, or Benji or Priscilla, feel free to hit me up, because we're starting something big here. This is a really big movement. And I want to get an Arcturian hoodie. I'm not gonna lie, but I have like 30 hoodies. Like I'm literally wearing one right now with the giant alien head on it.
Dude. Oh, let me. If anybody is still on, here's one of the Starseed ones. This is a sweatshirt.
So cool.
And then here's a Lyran one.
Oh, I like the color of that one, the maroon.
Yeah. And then I've got different ones where they have like Octurian at the top and stuff. But there's a couple examples. Girl, I've ordered so many of them already. I love all of them.
Oh, that's so cool. But, like literally, I was just thinking about that. There needs to be a Starseed merch store. And then I meet you literally within a week of that thought. And you happen to have a Starseed merch store.
You know what's weird is I've been wanting to do the merch for a while, and I knew that was just going to be a big, quick way to help spread the word and build a community. And then, I was kind of like stumbling on actually doing it. And then I watched an interview. These two chicks were starting like a Starseed school. And then they were talking about their merch that's going to be coming out, the Starseed merch. And they're like, it's going to be really huge. It'll help seed in the collective. And I'm like, no, that's my idea.
It's like we're all like on the same page here. It's so funny.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
Oh, girl, keep doing it. Honestly, we're doing everything we need to do. We're making all the right moves in all the right places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming.
There will be many more to come. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. Just linger for a moment after I close the stream because I'd like to talk to you a little bit more. Yeah. So thank you everybody for watching tonight. Again, Lily, thank you. This was a fantastic interview, and if anybody wants to share the word and help other people find their home, come on here. Feel free to share, post about this. We need to bring the people in. If you want to interview other people, let's go. We got this, guys. So I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you so much for supporting us by being here tonight and being such a great chat to engage with. You are all amazing, and we love all of you, and we are all here together to make this work. We got this, guys. So everybody have a great night, and go ahead and drop Lily a follow on her YouTube, and we'll see y'all next week. All right. Good night, guys.